and they're going to be paired off against other teams. Round robin chess is what we will have. That means everyone plays everyone there with the 10-minute plus 2-second time control. So fast games. It's going to be have us on the edge of our seat right out of the gate. What do you think in terms of, hey, Carl, while we have time here on the format, obviously you played every time control under the sun, but with a 2-second increment, do you feel like that favors the more experienced players, or does increment just super critical for beginner players who need that little bit of time to be added back with every move?
I think the increment certainly is going to help for the majority of the players, because one thing that I noticed in pogchamps was a lot of the contestants, when they got very low on time, they sort of panicked and made many mistakes. Yeah. So I think certainly it's useful that there is an increment, because it will help some of them sort of relax a little bit more. But again, I think there are certain people who it will benefit immensely. Specifically, I think Nim and Ludwig are probably the two guys where I think having that increment is very, very beneficial, because they both use a lot of time and they get low. So I think that gives them a big advantage, where some of the other players, they might not be as used to time control, and then trying to figure it out will be a little bit difficult. So it's going to be very interesting to see who handles their time in the right manner of speaking.
Yep. Well, it's the same increment if they make it to Blitz, and for those who don't know, Blitz is pretty much the fastest time which you can play. And not really, we're talking to the Bullet King here. What am I saying? We've got Hikaru Nakamura here. But for most human beings, Blitz is about as fast as they like to play. So 3 minutes plus 2 seconds will be what you'll get if we make it to a tiebreaker. We briefly mentioned that earlier. We're told the games are about to go. We're ready to jump in. We've got, apparently the first one that will get underway here will be Trump SC taking on BoxBox. So pretty excited for that. We've got the games ready to get going. I'm told. I'm just waiting to see the games pop up. Alexandra, your thoughts on BoxBox kicking things off here? You excited to see it? I made the comments that he was really one of the most committed in pogchamps. Anybody rival him in your eyes?
He was definitely one of the most committed. I guess Ludwig was also studying quite a bit in this tournament, but maybe not as much. Voyboy had more experience than him. I think in the people who played today, Hutch could be the other person who was also putting in a ton of chess time. But Trump SC is new, so I'm really curious to see how he's going to do. I see that there's a lot of overlap with Hearthstone players and chess.
Yeah, we have several Hearthstone players playing today. I've got one of the games up. We're waiting for the rest of them to get underway. I've got the Almighty Hutch here taking on Zalae, which is maybe going to be one of the critical matchups. But we'll wait for the team to tell us which game we're going to go to first.
Right, and we know they were doing a practice game before as well. So is this the real game?
I'm wondering if this even counts. Maybe this doesn't count. Maybe that's true. I don't know, but for anyone watching on chess.com directly, you'll see the Almighty Hutch is playing Zalae right now as we speak.
I see oh, sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I see that Zalae's chess.com rating is 1748. I wonder if he's maybe a little bit rusty because he used to play, I think Hikaru mentioned he was something like a child prodigy or something. Maybe he'll give the other players a chance if he's a little rusty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's there we go. Well, we've got Trump and BoxBox getting underway. So all the games are suddenly starting here. Everyone, don't go anywhere. The Twitch Rivals Chess Showdown is about to get rocking. Suddenly we've got more games that we can keep our eye on. I already see that Lud Skywalker is taking on Erod. That'll be a fun one too. But okay, wherever the team wants us to focus is where we will be. I've got Trump OG taking on BoxBox first here, and we'll probably get into that in moments. You guys, Hikaru and Alexander, you guys can see the game as well?
Yep, I'm following your screen, Danny.
Yep.
Good.
And Hikaru's got the little Pepe Jam head bob going on. Hikaru, you listening?
Hikaru's got a lot of head bobs going on.
No, I'm not listening to music. It's just the rhythm. Is
that a bobblehead alien behind you, or is that just a regular alien, Hikaru?
It's just a regular one, but you can spin the head around and it will move. And it's from your state of Arizona anyway, Danny. So you really should have one of them.
I should have one of those. Yeah. We apparently get alien visitors all the time. And I mean, crazy alien stories. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Here we go. We got chess. Here we go. We've got BoxBox. We've got Trump OG. They're throwing down here. We've got Hikaru, it's like a pretty standard 4 nights opening game here. You want to talk a little bit about the X's and O's
Yeah,
here?
so it looks pretty standard. Trump SC's got a good position. Box changed his opening. He decided to play the Berlin defense in the Spanish. I know in PogChamps he was on move 3. He was always playing pawn to G6, and fianchettoing his bishop to G7. And here he's choosing to play knight f6, which is very strange. So I'm a little bit surprised by this opening choice. Maybe he's going to do it the same way after d6 castles. He'll still go g6 here. But in general, I think white is doing very, very well.
Okay. And if he does go for g6 and get bishop g7, what is a plan that white might go? Okay, he doesn't. So he plays bishop e7. We've got a more standard thing here. Probably because he's worried about maybe white trying to open the center. And as I highlighted, d4 is on the board. Alexandra, is this an opening you play with either color?
It's not an opening that I play in tournament chess, but I've definitely coached a lot of players who start off with something like the the 4 nights game.
They started with the fortnight opening. That might be a new opening.
And I tell them, you're playing the wrong game. Switch to chess, okay?
Right.
No. But it teaches you all of the opening principles. So I really like that Trump is going to get the center as quickly as possible. And just echoing a bit of what Hikaru said, Box tends to play similar openings over and over again until he's able to master them, even if they're not the best opening, which feels like he's a little bit more cramped in here. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, we see that white is opening the center and winning a pawn. And Trump SC is... while the lower rated player, if you see those little numbers next to their username, everybody, that's the chess rating, 1247 versus 1304. But Trump SC, Trump OG, looking like the OG on the chessboard right now. He's already up a clean pawn, Hikaru.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. Up a pawn. Box already looks a little bit confused. I mean, I don't know how much work these players put in before the event, because obviously there's a lot of studying, a lot of training in the run up to PogChamps, and I feel like a lot of players after that, they took quite a long break. So I think there's a good chance that Box simply forgot his opening, and he's just trying something different and trying to sort of get back into the rhythm. But it's very bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, we see he's won one pawn, and here comes a second pawn on c6. We call these doubled pawns in chess, and they can't protect each other, so they're often a weakness and a problem. And white has just won a second pawn. Well, this is not a great start. So you think it's a little bit of rust on Box part, that he was so overloaded with chess there for that month of June that just forgot his openings during the break, huh?
I think it's just.
Go ahead, Hikaru.
Go ahead, Alexandra. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it happens to a lot of casual players when they're switching up their opening. They're not going to get the move order right the first time. And this isn't actually the worst position for him. He does have compensation because he has the 2 bishops. I spoke too soon.
Right as you said that, he parts with one, and we see that our evaluation didn't like that either. It's a bit of a, wait a second, things were close to equal. And what Alexander was going to highlight is that 2 bishops can work very well together in the open board and exert pressure, but not when you give one away, unfortunately. And unless Trump SC outthinks himself, he's probably just going to win a piece here.
Yeah, the Greek gift isn't going to work.
Yeah, let's look at that, Hikaru, because your brain is faster than all of us. But Hikaru was already calculating king takes with knight g4 check, which opens up the queen. And Hikaru's idea is the Greek gift, which means you gave up the bishop, but it's kind of a Trojan horse if you can get an attack. But highlight for us that it doesn't work, probably just because bishop f4, Hikaru?
It doesn't work for like literally every reason. First of all, after knight g4, if you go back, after knight to g4, white can take the knight with the queen and then take the queen on d8. That's the first reason it doesn't work. White can also go king to g3, and it doesn't work. White can also go king g1, queen h4, and bishop f4, and that also doesn't work.
Okay. So there we go. We see they've made a couple moves in the live position, so we're heading back up. And how
much of an upset does this feel like for you guys? Because obviously Trump is a little bit lower rated on chess.com, and Box is the one we thought had more experience.
I don't know. Hikaru kind of called it. Hikaru kind of said that Trump SC was an interesting. You said he was one of the guys you were looking forward to, Hikaru, right? And it looks like he's maybe going to deliver.
I don't think it's an upset at all. I think Trump OG or Trump SC, he's pretty new to chess.com, so I don't think he's played enough games to have an accurate rating. Right. So for me, this is not a surprise at all. And I think I thought that it was probably like 60-40 for Trump SC going into the game, but after this move, it's probably Well, I mean, it's either 100 or 0 because he's going to find a line where he's just simply winning, or he's going to lose and get checkmated in a couple of moves.
Well, you see he's moving his lips there. For those of you that might be just tuning into Twitch Rivals for the first time in the world, first of all, where have you been? Twitch Rivals, one of the biggest esports channels in the game here on Twitch, and often covering different games that are played in these types of showdowns and formats. We've got chess today, but that means that everyone on camera is also streaming their own point of view. So they're not just talking to themselves right now. You can go to their respective Twitch channels and check them out if that's what you're into. So, all right, we'll have to keep an eye on this. We'll see what Trump SC does. But in the meantime, let's take a quick step back here and jump to another one of the many games that you can follow. Again, everyone you're about to see today is streaming their own perspective. They're also playing on chess.com. You can go there directly and follow the games. But we're going to go check out QT Cinderella's game versus Nim. These two are... Well, QT Cinderella didn't play in PogChamps, but she's been streaming a lot of chess recently. Nim did. He's got the white pieces here. Hikaru, without even backing up, well, we see them. They're going nutty on camera there. Your thoughts on the position we see here for the two players?
Well, Nim seems very I don't know, like tired.
Yeah.
Can I say that? He doesn't look super enthused with his position. He's actually, I guess he's
doing a little better after that move by QT right there.
What I noticed with...
Oh, wait, sorry. Nim is white. I thought Nim was black. Sorry. No.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Okay.
What I
well, after that, go ahead,
Alexander. So we played a hand and brain match last week, and I think Cutie has a really good understanding of opening principles. But after she gets out her pieces and she castles, that's where she starts to stumble a little bit. So we see this first mistake from her, capturing back with the kingside pawn, creating a weakness, doubling the pawns. When if she would have taken with the queen, I actually preferred her position a little bit.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and you and our evaluation, the general evaluation that sometimes guides for those new players, also kind of likes black. QT would have been able to bring the rooks into the center and probably been pretty comfy, but maybe now Nim is going to start feeling happier. I'm glad Hikaru said it because I kind of agreed. Nim didn't look kind of that thrilled with his position, but now he's doing better with the double pawns and open king, the mistake by QT, and now it could get worse because Nim has his choice of minor pieces to capture. No, only one he should take for free, this one.
And I was going to add that. I mean, it's
yes.
funny that Nim looks more sad when QT Cinderella is the one streaming in the dark from a closet. But, we'll hopefully see a bit more of a smile on his face after this free piece.
He does take the knight. He probably could have taken the bishop. With a check, would have picked up the knight. Hikaru probably calculated that an hour ago. But, Hikaru, your thoughts now? Nim looks like he's waking up a little bit, and he is team captain for his team. So, going to be a W that he needs to start things off, right?
Yeah, I think Nim certainly is in very good shape. I will say out of all the players, he probably impressed me the most in terms of the improvement, considering the ratio of improvement versus the amount of training he did from start to finish, because he came very close. He actually took a game off of Hutch in the semifinal in the champions bracket. Before eventually losing the second game and then losing in the tiebreaker. But he was probably the most impressive player for me throughout PogChamp, so I think he definitely is not someone to be underestimated.
Yeah, I'll never forget his match against Forsen. He did an incredible job, and it was closer than we expected, but he was able to, I think, perform better than his initial seed.
Every time we see QT pretty animated on camera over there, I'm sure that the fans are on the edge of their seat with. I don't know what she was freaking out about there. Queen D7 was a pretty good move there, and protected her bishop right there. She's still down a piece, and agree with Hikaru. Nim is definitely in control here, but that she's doing okay. She's doing okay, and I wonder what she's so nervous about.
Well, do we want to stick to this game or check out some of the other competitors as well?
Well, speaking of the other competitors, we know that QT's live-in roommate, I believe is what they refer to each other as, is also in the event. And probably in a moment, we'll check in with none other than Lud Skywalker, as he's known on chess.com, in just a moment. But you think Ludwig is happy to have his roommate join him in a chess tournament since he had to play PogChamps by himself last time?
I think it's always fun to be able to participate in something with your roommate, just to get a little closer with the people you're living with.
All right, well, let's head over to that game and check out Lud Skywalker. Now, Ludwig is taking on one of the players that he also had a chance to play, I believe, in the PogChamps event. He's taking on eRob right now, WRob221 on chess.com. Let's go see that game. Looks like Ludwig is flexing right now. He's in a great position. Hey, Caro, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, I think Ludwig is doing very, very well so far. He's got this nice pass pawn on d7. He controls the whole center part of the board, so he's doing extremely well. One thing I noticed was he coined the term the legendary triple stack, which of course, Danny, you're very familiar with. And so I think he'll find out how to do the double stack here. Just play rook e3, rook to e1, and White is completely in control and doing very well. That being said, I am impressed at eRob. He has survived the opening, and he's not actually down any material after the first 20 moves of the game, which is a very big improvement because it felt like in PogChamps, he sort of got into trouble very early in the game and never really had a chance. So to see him getting out of the opening and being competitive, it's really nice to see in this game.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's managing his time very well. They both have 4 minutes on the clock. He's trying to develop his pieces. It's a bit of a cramped, uncomfortable position, but he is starting off with bishop a6. Hopefully, he can move his knight out to b7 and bring his rook to d8. But it is going to be an uphill battle for him to get out of this position.
Yeah, for sure. But I agree. You and Alexandra and Hikaru did a fantastic job holding the majority of the PogChamp shows down together. But one of the few games I commented on was a tough loss that eRob had, and I agree, Hikaru. It almost felt like he almost never had a chance. Got off to a really tough start and couldn't rebound. So even though he's in a tough spot here, and White does have this very strong pass pawn, yeah, I think he still has chances. And because of the time, we've seen Ludwig get himself under time pressure before and not be able to keep it together. So we'll see what Lud Skywalker has up his sleeve. He didn't go for the double stack. For those who didn't get the triple stack reference, Ludwig has been doing lots of chess videos on his YouTube channel. You should check it out. And he did claim the invention of the triple stack in a pretty hilarious chess analysis video. So maybe he's got ideas of moving the bishop and pushing the d pawn. Hikaru, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's one idea. I think just in general, even knight takes pawn on c6, that's another good, or some idea like queen f5 to try and checkmate on h7. That's kind of dirty.
I think eRob is going to see it, and he's going to take the queen here. It's just too tempting, so close by. Difficult to ignore. And there's another fun fact about Ludwig too, since you brought up his YouTube. I think if you look at all of Twitch, he actually had the highest viewership as an individual chess streamer ever because of that raid from chess.com when he was playing. So that's pretty insane. It must have been the triple stack, you know?
He's was pretty funny. He bragged about it. It was pretty hilarious. So yeah, he's become quite the chess entertainer recently. For those who don't follow Ludwig's channel, he's not on camera here, but I believe he is streaming. You can go check it out and continue to tune in. So some other games I'm spying, and we're not have to go to them yet. Just remind you, Alex and Hikaru, if you see one you want to go to, you can throw. Oh,
I spoke too soon when I said he would defend against the mate. Oh, no, not
Hikaru. When it happened, Hikaru said, "That's dirty." I almost feel like you knew it was going to happen, Hikaru. I almost feel like you knew it was going to happen.
Lose his first game in PogChamps by getting checkmated on the same square. Because at some point, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right?
That was tough. I don't have a lot of back support in this chair, so I'm hopefully not going to have too many surprising checkmates today because I might actually fall out of it. All right, well, we're going to head over to Trump OG and BoxBox, a game that we started with, and see where it progressed to. But, wow, that's a tough one for eRob there. We know he's had some tough losses. Hikaru, you're eRob's coach. Give us the pep talk. How do you get eRob focused here and not missing things like that?
I think the main thing is just to realize that he's playing someone who's more experienced, someone who's higher rated, and he's going to have chances in his upcoming games. So I think that's the main thing. Okay. But I mean, honestly, it's really brutal. Like PogChamps, I think it's the first game we had was when he played against Foosley, and it was a queen takes h7 checkmate. And now the first game that we're actually watching, where we see a checkmate played in Twitch Rivals, is also a queen h7 mate, and it's also eRob. So it's pretty rough to see. But again, it's a long tournament. He has 3 more games, and he doesn't have to play Zalay because Zalay's on his own team. So I think there's nothing but upside from here.
Okay. Good advice. Hey, I feel inspired by that coach pep talk. So yeah. All Okay, well, Alexander, we're back to Trump OG and Box Box. Trump is still in a better spot, just like we left him. Now he's up a piece. And what are you betting on Trump's technique here? I'm going to bet he does pretty well, given that he's also up a couple minutes on the clock.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like the sacrifice that Box went for, Trump found one of the three ways he could fight against it. So he is up
Right.
full piece here. He should be winning. Box only has a minute on the clock. I guess if Box has any chances, it's making some space for his king so he doesn't get back rank checkmated like he did with h5, and then
Yep.
trying to maybe double his rooks on the second rank and just hope for a miracle, because otherwise there's just
Yep.
nothing to do here.
It's hard when the miracle is probably stopped by something your opponent doesn't even have to do anything about. And although here comes g5, so Box is trying to create some counterplay. Maybe wants to kick this bishop out of that comfy square and do what Alexander said. But in the high levels of chess, Hikaru, give us your really quick advice. The players watching and all the fans watching want to convert on these endgames. What would be your mindset as white to make this super easy to win up a piece?
Well, what you want to do is you either want to use the bishop on the dark square diagonal from a1 to h8, like putting it on e5 and covering h8, or you'd want to play rook a d1 and just double the rooks on the 7th rank. Now, I think that's a concept that we didn't really get too much in terms of the lessons, but
Yep.
The idea of doubling the rooks or stacking them on the 7th rank is very strong. And additionally, you can also try to trade off one side of the rooks as well. So all these ideas are very good. However, this does give up the pawn on e2, so it's not as simple, perhaps, as a move like rook a d1, rook d7 would have been.
Mm-hmm. Great, and there you go. Box kind of here's that call, but Trump is showing that technique Hikaru mentioned, that trading off the rooks, in theory, very often when you're up material in chess, trading pieces makes it even more obvious and easier for that piece to do things that the pawns cannot. So yeah, that's Trump should still win. That's the thing, and unless he finds a way to mess this up, he's still up a piece.
I mean, we can definitely count on Trump to make some mistakes, though. I mean, he's already made quite a few in this game.
So now so maybe it'll get closer than we thought, because Hikaru, your idea of doubling on the 7th was very clearly the best. Now like you said, I mean, Trump's up a piece, but you got this passed pawn. What's the clear plan here? It's not that easy for players of this level to probably coordinate the rook and bishop for a winning plan.
Yeah, so I mean, I think in terms of this game, Trump SC, probably what he should do is try to play f4 at some point and exchange one of his double f pawns for the pawn on g5. Because otherwise it's quite difficult to really win this position. I'm already starting to think this is going to require quite a bit of technique, because black will put that dark pawn on a7, on a6, and then guard all his pawns together by putting one on f6. So it's going to be tricky. White is winning, of course, but this will require some technique from Mr. SC.
Right. And on top of that, I mean, Box.
Oh no.
Every time I Box
Oh,
piece.
I'm glad I wasn't on camera for that one. It was more awkward than the first. That was. Now Trump SC gives a laugh. He goes, "Okay, well that's going to make it easier than it was going to be." So that's what happens, right? Players make mistakes, and that's why the game is played, as we like to say. And now you see Trump really putting on the jets. Yeah, this guy's clearly better than the 1200 rating. He's up on the clock, up on the board. He's gonna be a tough one today in our Twitch Rivals Chess Showdown. So.
He also looks so happy now.
Yeah, he does.
Holding that smile for quite some time there. He couldn't help it.
Here he goes, pushing the B pawn. Gonna get a new baby girl on B8. If you don't know the rules of chess, a pawn that reaches the other side becomes any piece you want besides a king or a pawn. So should be pretty easy once a new queen comes. We're not gonna go anywhere, because sometimes, as we know, things happen, right? And I don't want to say that word. But crazier things have happened. Stalemating, saying the word in a whisper, Alexander, doesn't make it any better.
Oh man.
Here we go.
The mate which shall not be named. There we go.
All right. He's making it look easy. We're about to transition here because wow. Trump SC is an OG. He gets it done. We're gonna back up and transition over. There's a lot of games going on. I wanted to check out Nate Hill and Slicker, a couple of guys that we know had a great time in PogChamps. If you guys are okay with that, There have been other games. Again, remind everybody. Of course, every one of these players is streaming. You can go choose your own adventure if you're not liking the game that we're choosing to focus on here at Twitch Rivals. You can also go to chess.com and follow the games yourself. But all right, we've got Nate Hill and Slicker.
And
Nate
just a
Hill,
reminder,
Yeah, go ahead.
Slicker was trash talking Nate Hill during Twitch Rivals, saying how there's no way he's going to end up losing to a Fortnite player. And Nate was actually the one who ended up making it to the championship bracket. So there is some rivalry between Nate and Slicker. And we just saw Nate do this incredible move, B4, putting pressure on the knight that's defending the rook on D7. So this is looking very nice for Nate. And he was already up in exchange.
You brought up all the storylines. I mean, I was going to say it's not really that rare that Slicker trash talks. Yes, he trash talked Nate Hill, but Slicker trash talked everybody. So, Hikaru, what are your thoughts on?
Well, I mean, I'll just make a little correction. That was actually not a.
Oh.
It was actually E-Rob who said that he would never lose to a Fortnite streamer, and of course, as we know, E-Rob did lose to Nate Hill. That being said, it's quite easy to make that to get confused because Slicker did pretty much trash talk everyone that I think he had to play against in the event.
Right.
So
thanks for the correction, Hikaru. Appreciate it.
Which was my point. No.
Slicker literally, I feel like he said he trash talked every single person he played against.
I think
it's not very hard.
Trash talk to me when I was coaching him.
But Hikaru, I gotta say, dude. I mean, everyone knows of your memory at chess and your insane calculation skills, but you have a memory for what went down in PogChamps. You remember the trash talk and the pop culture memes. I mean, better than anybody. Is that another thing you're working on? Like not just your chess, but just your meme game. Make sure you remember all the different trash talk storylines.
So Danny, is it time for my hourly flex? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, time for your hourly flex. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, it was just one of those events that really everybody was following it very closely, and I felt that most of the matches, because they were so close and so intense, you were sort of on your edge of the seat throughout. And I think that's a large part of why I remember it so well. I mean, like, you know, if I went and watched, I don't know, if I watched, you know, Voyboy go and play League of Legends today as part of TSM or something, I have a feeling I would not remember any of the gameplay or any of the trash talk in a week from now. But because it was so intense, it was so close. I really did enjoy it. And that's, I think, a large part of why I remember it so well. Yeah,
makes sense. Well, I mean, this is going to be a game that Slicker doesn't want to remember. Nate Hill is making it look super easy. Just the speed of which he's converting this.
I want to see if he remembers how to make sort of the ladder, the staircase here with the rook and the pawns.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's one of the most basic things that we tried to teach the players was kind of how to make that sort of that checkmate with like getting a rook and a queen or two rooks and so forth. So I kind of want to see if Nate actually has the technique down.
Yeah. And that's great. You keep mentioning the coaching that was done. Obviously, you and Alexandra did a lot of it, and just working with the players. Was that really your main focus? Was not so much on, you know, crazy tricks and traps, but like, hey, if you want to become a good chess player, here are the muscles you got to build, right? You got to know the ladder technique. You got to know how to convert, you know, an extra pawn. Was that really your goal? Like taking a holistic, how you would really coach someone to chess, not just a temporary kind of streamer fling sort of thing.
Okay, where to start with everything you just said there? I guess what I would say is trying to win up a pawn. That's very advanced, Danny. I mean,
I actually meant converting the pawns, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you're up one pawn and you're trying to win up one pawn, I mean, I don't know, Dan. I feel like you've spent too much time in Russia, perhaps, in your life, because that's pretty advanced. But I would say in general, like trying to win when you're up a piece or you're up like a rook or up a queen, trying to understand some of these basic things is very important. I'm still not convinced that Nate knows how to win this, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm really not sure. Don't hang the rook, please. Don't.
I'm having flashbacks to the Nate Hill Foosley game, if you remember, the roller coaster of emotions that was.
Yeah.
Now is Nate gonna like flex on us and checkmate with like a rook, or is he just gonna make a queen here?
Yeah, he's got a perfect position.
He's gonna try to mate with a king and a rook. This is kind of gonna be interesting to see.
Well, I was going to say he's got a perfect position, everyone, to just push the pawn and get the queen that Hikaru's been calling for a while, because the rook naturally keeps the king cut off, and because the king protects the rook, this situation isn't going anywhere. Okay, he keeps moving the king. If he wants, he could just push the pawn, and maybe now he's in a perfect spot to do so, and he'll be delivering checkmate.
Okay, now he should do it.
Yeah.
Now it's not hard. Now I think he'll just make the checkmate. Yeah.
or he will make it more interesting for the content, right? Pulling one from Ludwig and throwing for content or delaying a little bit here.
I'm really
He,
confused.
he had check. Is he playing with his food a little bit? Is he
I'm
trying
not
to?
sure that he actually know. I'm not sure he actually knows the technique. I think there's that. Like, I'm not sure that he knows how to mate
Okay.
actually. Like, I see like Queen C4 and Rook B8 or something coming. Okay, he does this. So now I should make the check with the queen on B7 if he.
Yeah, and that
knows
would
the
be your
pattern.
ladder.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, he doesn't quite go all the way. Okay. Should be a forced checkmate here any moment, everyone. The ladder Hikaru talked about, it's kind of the easiest if
But
you
he
get
doesn't know it. He doesn't know it, so I'm
yeah.
not sure.
So whoever coaches Nate Hill next, this is definitely what they should focus on, the ladder format with the rook and the queen.
Yeah,
This-
not king.
Don't play
B7.
this. Don't play this. Okay.
Okay, it's a check. Checks are good.
This is one of those cases where you almost want the players to always check because you're worried that a subtle move might be stalemate. But so Hikaru keeps mentioning the ladder, everyone. The easiest way to do that is to put the queen and rook side by side, and you just go step by
Now he has
step.
rook E3. Well, this is another pattern that maybe he'll see.
Okay, he does. This is the next move if he sees it.
Let's see. There's no way he knows this pattern, by the way.
Okay,
Oh,
He's-
there.
he's figuring it out. Rinse and
You're
repeat.
gonna figure this out without knowing it. That'd be very. Oh wow, he does. Oh my gosh, this is very impressive. For somebody who doesn't know the mating pattern, this is very, very impressive.
As long as he delivers, and he
did it.
does.
There you go. There you go.
That's one of the most
Wow.
impressive things I've seen throughout the whole event, actually.
Yeah,
Because that's very. It's not a pattern you should see, and to like figure it out over the board like that when you clearly don't know the mating patterns.
Yeah.
That's very, very nice from Nate Hill. I really do like that. That's impressive.
I kept wanting to show the ladder format that you mentioned, but we didn't quite have enough time. But obviously, it's a very important checkmate. But yeah, he figured out a slightly more advanced kind of version of how the queen and rook can work together there, everybody. Very impressive. Well, we're gonna go to another game here in just a moment. We've got Turbo Fisto taking on Fuseli. Leslie was the legend.
Turbo Fisto is moist critical, right?
Yeah.
Turbo Fisto.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Go
Cool.
ahead.
Cool.
I wasn't sure if you were asking me or Hikaru. Yeah, so we've got Moist Critical, Turbo Fisto taking on Fuseli. This is a pretty close game. I mean, Black's better and up a lot of pawns, but material, the major material is equal, and so I think this could still go any way here.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so Charlie is down 2 pawns. So Fuseli is actually playing really well so far, and I
Yep.
will say, out of the players that I saw playing in the main event, the players who I felt had the most natural talent or picked up the concepts the best were Nate Hill and Fuseli. So it's not surprising to me that she's doing well. However, I know Charlie has been taking lessons even after PogChamps ended with the prophet Daniel Naroditsky. So
Wow,
it
I
is
didn't know
certainly
that.
surprising to see that he is behind in this game on one hand.
Right, and Hikaru, have you seen Fuseli continuing any lessons as well?
As far as I know, I think she was doing chess last night, but besides that, not really. So it's really great to see how balanced this matchup is.
Yeah. Charlie, obviously sticking and working with Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky. Anybody else? So we asked about Fuseli. Do you know of any other players that have continued to kind of have that chess commitment after the rise of the PogChamps?
I've seen Box taking lessons. Just the other day,
Okay.
he was doing a lesson with woman grandmaster Chiu Zhou. So that's
Okay.
for sure one person.
Yeah, it's been fun and crazy to see streamers who not necessarily known for their chess really putting the effort in. A lot of these guys and gals have the mindset they really like the process of trying to get better. And Nate Hill talked about that when we interviewed him after one of the wins. He's like, I love the fact that I clearly have so much to learn about chess, and makes it more addicting to him right now, just to play every game and know that he's getting better every day. Fuseli, I'm super impressed because she's also not down too much on time. I mean, 2.5 minutes, but as long as she gets the bishop developed and gets through the rook out, she has a very good chance to get the W here.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, I mean, she got the hat as well, so now she just needs to bring the last two forces, the bishop and the rook, into the game, and then she'll be in very good shape. E5 is a fantastic move.
Yeah.
Opening up the bishop, now you have much more scope as well. So really, really, really nice game. At least a little bit we've seen from Fuseli.
Although now we might see rook f8 coming into play, which could be a little bit tricky because then her bishop's going to be temporarily pinned. But okay, no, Charlie goes instead for d4. So he's trying to create some trades here. What do you think, Hikaru, Charlie's best strategy to draw or save this game would be?
Pretty much hope that Fuseli makes a blunder. That's
my
that's
strategy. That's what I do. I just hope for blunders. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Danny, I mean, you play bad openings too.
The bad openings.
That's why you always need to hope.
I feel like you've been talking to me about my bad openings for years, and I clearly have not fixed this. So we'll save that for off air, right?
Just don't give up a pawn on the first 5 moves, dude. Like how hard?
I know, and stop playing the dragon. Why do I do these things? Like seriously, what is it about chess addicts that just can't fix their bad openings? Can we just make the show all about my chess?
I feel personally attacked too, just hearing this conversation.
Just so you know, Alexandra, the reason I said it is because Danny, for a long time, he played the Benko Gambit or the Blumenfeld Gambit against d4. So that's what the reference is.
Okay.
It's a stage I never grew out of. So anyway, okay, this position, Charlie has won one of the pawns back. So now we're in a 3 pawns versus 4. And this is getting a little bit closer to something that might be hard to convert. She still has not completed development. Development is a term when you get all your pieces off the back rank and coordinated for some kind of plan. She hasn't done that. So this is not over yet.
Right. And winning with
go ahead.
Thanks. So winning with just a pawn in the endgame can be tricky, but at least here she has 2 passed pawns. I think the bigger question is just if she's going to be able to do it with time management too, because like Hikaru mentioned in the intro, once players in PogChamp started getting to around 1 minute, they would panic and really start blundering.
Mm-hmm. This is a good move here, right? You've got the bishop out, which is finally developed, so it opens the rook. It's one of those moves that's good, not just for the piece itself, but because it opens up another one. But it's in a good spot anyway, because it helps the potential coming past d-pawn here.
Danny,
I thought I was talking to Hikaru. Hikaru stepped away. Apparently we're having...
scared him off?
Classic clip moment. What's going on? I don't know. This is kind of fun.
Something...
Oh, there he is.
All right.
What happened there, buddy?
I was trying to adjust my webcam because it's always different between OBS and Skype and everything, so that you can't see the black of the monitors. But I'm a perfectionist, but I couldn't make it perfect. Yeah.
It looks good. Looks better. All right. So in the meantime, Hikaru Fuseli does develop, and not just the bishop, but the rook. So she's looking a lot better than before. But will she kind of realize the need to start pushing these passed pawns before Charlie? Okay, here we go. Here she goes.
Yeah, I mean, she's actually, one thing that I thought was very impressive when I saw her taking lessons with multiple coaches is that she really was trying to take in the most information. And I always felt like when I saw her games that if she was able to put it all together, she could play some really, really nice games from start to finish. And I didn't think that applied to some of the other players, perhaps. It feels like in this game she's really doing that. Like, even though she gave up the pawn, it was a good pawn that she gave up on the c file because now she can run the 2 pawns down the board. And so I think this is really, really amazing. If she plays king e6 and king d5, this will be incredible to see.
And hopefully we're going to see her bringing in her king as well. That's another concept we tried to introduce to a lot of the new players here. Because if she just pushes the pawn by itself without enough backup, that could be potentially problematic. She might get the knight, the rook, and the king coming towards to try to defend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the d pawn is kind of stuck though. So Hikaru, you were highlighting the 2 pawns obviously together. They're passed, and if they can push. But shout out to Charlie, right, for putting the knight on a very useful square there, where it blockades the e pawn physically, it blockades the d pawn via threats. So I don't know why, but maybe it's just because of time pressure. We know how tricky the knights can be. And there we go. That was not good. She forgot about her bishop.
It's still okay though, I guess, because after rook g4, king f5. It's very tricky. I think black is still maybe okay, but yeah, king f5 is an only move here. And she does play it at least, so...
Double attack.
Yeah, this is tricky. After king f3, white is probably still winning, but it's kind of hard.
Wow, they're
Yeah, he
finding
does see
all
it,
these
though.
moves.
So I guess she has some ideas now with rook h3 or d2. She might as well try to be as tricky as possible since she already lost material.
Yep.
Yeah, rook h3 is by far and away, I think, the best move here.
Ooh. So she's trying. This is another move that is not as forcing as rook h3, but trying to check from behind, maybe also maybe helping the d pawn. So this is going to be a wild one. Whoever blunders last, I guess, will lose, because Charlie could now make mistakes right back if he's not careful. Any move could somehow free the d pawn or make another mistake.
And Charlie also under a minute now, so maybe we'll see a blunder back.
A lot of games going on. Remind everybody, if you're just tuning in, this is Twitch Rivals. Everybody you see playing is also streaming, so you can search the chess category here on Twitch and choose another adventure if you want. But all right, we're gonna probably stick this one out to see whether Moist Critical, Turbo Fisto on chess.com can hold on and win up a piece here against Fuseli, or if Fuseli can come up.
Now there's rook f1. Rook f1 is winning. Oh my gosh.
Oh, she sees it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
She found it. So this is, if knight f2, everybody, the idea is Fuseli has rook takes f2, which deflects the king.
Well, pawn to d2 is also very strong.
D2. Oh, yeah, you're right. D2 is even better.
She just has to find one of those two.
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
There you go.
Look at her. She's flexing right. This is amazing. She's now, the main point, everybody, is the knight is not actually guarding d1 because the knight is pinned to the king. So she's just straight up threatening to get a queen on d1 on the next move.
She is popping off here, and Charlie can't play rook d4 to stop d1. What can he play? King e2, I guess, is one of the only options. But then if she sees rook takes f2, I think that's probably his best line because it's trickier.
Rook g7. That means we have a new queen on d1, and the game is over. It's check, and she should go on to win. Charlie down on time now.
Although she also, there we go, she saw it, and she has 20 seconds left on the clock.
Plenty of time, as long as, okay, it's still anything can happen, right?
Queen e2 or rook g1 are the most critical moves here. I think she'll see that the queen is hanging. I mean, if she sees queen e2, I think it's over, but she has to find one last good move with the queen, or a rook g1 check.
Oh,
She's
no,
got to do it in 6 seconds.
On the clock. Let's go, Fuseli.
Oh. No! She forgot the knight isn't pinned anymore, and it goes right back the other way. Oh my gosh! I'm glad we're not watching her on camera right now. It might be too painful. Oh man, that's a common mistake though for fans watching, and it's a good one to learn from. When you got to remember the details that change. A few moves ago, that knight was pinned, so it couldn't do anything, and that kind of was locked in her brain, and then she forgot that the knight was no longer pinned and lost the queen.
And now both sides are trying to promote and
she doesn't go rook c1. Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh my gosh! And now Charlie, I don't know that he's gonna give it back. I feel like he's
no way.
But that was almost a stalemate trick. I wonder if she forgot about the a-pawn.
It was a good attempt. It was a good attempt, honestly. I think she did because she resigned. Oof.
But even that's a heads-up play by Fuseli. I mean, obviously, the point, everybody, is if you take this a-pawn off the board, this would actually have been stalemate. So it would have been a very, very fun trick there by Fuseli at the end. We've got other games going. Again, there's going to be games going all day here. The Twitch Rivals Chess Showdown has only just begun. Nate Hill and Slicker are playing their second game. We've got BoxBox versus Trump OG in their second game. We haven't checked on Fire Batches versus with Lovzina.
Fire Bat, dude, not Fire Batches.
Fire Bat Chess. I'm sorry. Bat.
Actually, what does Fire Bat stream? Is he from StarCraft, or is it just a different Fire Bat thing?
I thought he did Hearthstone.
Let's check out this game. Let's check out the Fire Bat Chess game since we're talking about him. I actually don't know. Maybe someone can tell us behind the scenes. I don't know what game he normally streams.
Oh, it's Hearthstone. Oh, I assumed it was StarCraft. Okay, it's Hearthstone.
Okay. Well, in a moment, we're going to be talking about, and since we're into correcting names that I can't read, with Lovzina or Lovzina?
He was apparently the Hearthstone world champion.
Oh, and by the way, apparently it is named after the Fire Bat. Yeah, I assumed Fire Bat had to come from StarCraft. There's like literally nothing else I can think of a Fire Bat in. Fire Bat with the stim pack. Great. Fire Bat with the medic. Greatest thing ever.
You guys are way too cool for me. I don't even know how I got on this show. I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'm gonna pretend. This is like when my kids are talking about Fortnite and.
Danny, but you're older than me. Come on, this is like a game from our generation, dude.
I know. I know. I the only game I ever played consistently for a while was Diablo 2. Dude, I never played video games.
Fair. That's fair though. That's legit, man. That's legit.
Okay.
Alexander, what did you play?
I didn't actually play a lot of games growing up. I played Super Smash Brothers because we had a Nintendo 64, so that was my game as a kid.
I love that game. The old paddle. I mean, that was my jam. Look at us. This is like one of those conversations where half the audience is just cringing so bad by the things we're talking about. All right, let's talk about the chess. We've got a lot of moves being played here with Love Sheena. How is the X pronounced there?
Sheena.
I assume it's Gina, right?
Gina, okay. With Love Gina, sporting the Canadian flag versus Fire Bat Chess. It's an equal position, mostly in terms of material. Black is better here because of the weakness of the pawn on e5, and Black is actually already up.
Oh, by the way, it's apparently supposed to be Xena, like Xena Warrior Princess, I think.
That's why I was asking. I kept thinking of Xena. Shout out to Xena and Hercules, right? Used to watch those on the WGN network.
Dude, that's so silly.
That is so ridiculous. Anyway, Xena is back with Love Xena, and the queens have retreated, so she lost the right to castle. Her king is going to be much more vulnerable than Black's, which has now been tucked away with the move castle. So I mean, we got to like Fire Bat Chess, at least as far as the opening stage goes in this game.
Right.
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
better developed. He's up a pawn. His king is safer. He is going to have to get his light squared bishop off of c8, though, and that's going to be a little bit awkward for him to figure out.
Yeah, fair point, right? Blocked by the pawn, and these sort of things come back to haunt even the best of chess players if you don't get all your pieces in. But at the same token, the same thing could be said for white, right? The bishop on c1 blocked, and there goes a knight on f3.
Right, and oh no, but and it would have been tricky because even if the knight went to c4, there was moves like b5. So actually, Firebat is just playing this very well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Hearthstone players are kind of sweeping today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Hearthstone players might have a future playing more chess if they could get into it. So maybe more will take note of that. All right, the king moves to e1. I don't know exactly what Xena's plan is here. She needs to get pieces developed and then ask questions later. She's moving pieces that are already in the game. Got to get this guy out, get the rook out. These should be the plans for white.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's the thing though is it's hard to judge. Is Firebat really 594 or is he just very new?
Right.
I think is really the question. Because if he's very new, I think the scheme is still very unclear. But I would say he is up one piece, and white cannot castle the king, I don't believe. White has moved the king already. So if black can move the bishop and bring the last rook into the game, then I think black will be doing very well.
Okay. Yeah. Get the bishop out, get the other rook in, go double stack or go home, I always say. All right, well, for white, now that she did get the bishop off of the back rank, so that helps, but the king, just because it's on its original square, doesn't mean it can castle. The king has already moved a whole bunch, so you're still got a lot to figure out if you're the white player here because your king is going to be stuck in the center forever.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay. Well, oh, no. That's probably not the right direction of the bishop.
No, this is really tough. I saw that with Love Xena. She's been playing a lot of different games, so she's a variety streamer. It's nice to see that she's taking on chess, but I think what's happening is just the lack of experience is showing here if she's retreating the bishop back on c1.
Right.
And by the way, Danny, just to add something, since I am reading chat at the same time, they did say Firebat Chess has only played one game, so there's a good chance that his rating is actually not 594, and it's just because he played one game, probably against like an 800 or 900, probably lost, so he lost 300 points in the first game. So it seems pretty clear that he's not super new to, well, he's not completely new to the game of chess at least, which would make sense here in terms of why he's doing so well.
Yeah, good point. And thank you, chat, for recognizing that. Look at that. Developing a piece while protecting the rook, while threatening discovered check actually discovered checkmate.
Rook takes C3 is just a complete fossilization.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think if he plays
Wow.
it, do you think you can finally get him a diamond membership on chess.com, Dan?
Yeah, well, some of these players have just started and just joined on chess.com, which is why we didn't give them a diamond membership. But don't worry, everybody in the event has diamonds waiting for them if they want it. So no, you're maybe he doesn't need a diamond membership, Alexandra. This has been a pretty perfect game for Black. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Somebody figure out how good Fire Bat Chess really is, because he is on his way with that.
Wow, that was very impressive. Just amazing.
Yeah. If we had a Rivals Brilliancy prize, this one, could definitely be in the running.
Well, I was going to throw over to BoxBox and Trump OG, but it just ended with Trump OG checkmating BoxBox. So I think we should go back to either Fuseli and Charlie, Turbo Fisto, known as Moist Critical. I feel like he's the guy referred to by more things than anybody. Charlie, Moist Critical, Turbo Fisto, or Slicker and Nate Hill. What you guys choose? Alexander, you choose.
Well,
Slicker
I think we can watch Slicker and Nate Hill just for a second. It seems like Slicker is totally winning, but it's interesting because Nate won the first game, and it looks like they're going to go 1-1.
Well, I've just been told that maybe we should go to Turbo Fister because the team has that ready. So we're going to go to Turbo. Sorry about that. Just ending. I'm going to ask you what you want and then take it away. Just like my 4-year-old. So sorry about that. Actually, unfortunately, I almost never get to not give her what she wants, my 4-year-old. But all right, we're going to go check out Fuseli's game. She's now got the white pieces taken on Turbo Fisto. That is Most Critical. Now, as we get the game ready, let's oh, here we go. We've got it up. And again, Fuseli, Hikaru, you said that she tried to take in the game as a whole. She really jumped into the coaching. And I noticed in the games, one of the games I commentated live is she had good openings almost every game. I don't feel like I ever saw a bad opening from Fuseli. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong about that? And here again, she seems to be off to a good start.
Well, stop
making me. You just keep trying to make me. You're trying to make me flex, man. It's not. Dude,
cool. That's what I want. That's what I want all the time.
Like you're literally
like, for it.
Why does she play good openings? Like it's so rhetorical.
Because you worked with her on the openings.
But joking aside, I think the openings in general that she got, like the Caro Cons that she played and sort of the London systems, the basics of where you're trying to put the bishops and put the pawns, I felt that she had a better grasp on that than most of the other players, and that's why I think she was one of the favorites to watch, because the general improvement she had from these lessons, she seemed to remember more than some of the other players. Now Knight H5 is just a terrible move. The Prophet is going to be very upset when he talks to Charlie later, because that's not a good move.
Yeah. Janya Naroditsky needs to work with Charlie on the openings here, because this is an unprincipled move. To put a knight on the edge of the board is almost never where you want it, because look at the future. It has none. All these squares are already attacked. That's why Hikaru doesn't like it.
Right. Well, knight wasn't really under attack on f6 because Fuseli isn't trying to trade off her bishop pair. And even if she did, he could have even recaptured with a queen to not mess up his king side. So it wasn't a real threat, and it has nowhere to go now.
And Fuseli goes right back with the opposite kind of knight move, developing it, getting it closer to the center. A good move. So Charlie has some things to figure out. Hikaru, you mentioned use of the bishops and the pawns, and I'm going to ask you a general chess question because I think the fans want to know. When you said you think she has talent, is it when you're working with someone for the first time, what are things you look for that makes you think, oh, this person clearly has a feel for the patterns of the game? Is it their recognition of pawn structure and how to develop, or what other things do you look for like that?
I think it's mainly just how well they're able to understand and implement the plan. So like if you try to show them an opening, let's just say you show them London defense, and the basic idea of you bring the bishops out to squares and bring the knights out, you really kind of want to see how well they remember that in that first lesson, the first like 30 to 60 minutes, and just like following the setup. If they can do that, you know that they're able to process information in a very sort of critical manner. Speaking,
I was highlighting the opening that she did, the London there, and did well, but then she clearly lost sight. So she started out really well. She lost sight, everybody. Unfortunately, that the queen was defending this pawn, and Charlie is he's right back in this one.
I think he's winning, actually.
Yeah. That was rough. I mean, she played the opening well, but blunders keep happening at any stage in the game. Sad to see it so early, though.
But she gets a check. She gets a check. As you always tell beginners, if you see a check, play the check. And Black has to move the king and cannot castle now. So there are still some practical chances since Black will have a vulnerable king.
Yep. I was taught always check it might be mate. That wasn't the right coaching.
Actually, I think you've got the right phrase. I have the wrong one. Yeah. That's actually the correct phrase. You're right, Danny. That is the
Well,
correct.
no, I was teasing because I think it's true that at beginner levels, most of the time if they see a check, they probably should play the check. And here, as Hikaru said, Black has lost the right to castle. Now, if she found a move c4, right, we'd really be happy because that would recognize that she knows, okay, if I can open up this side of the board against the king, I've got good chances. So c4 would be a really good find for her to try to open up that side of the board.
Yeah, and if she does end up playing c4, how much of a practical chance do you think she has to come back from this game, Hikaru? Oh,
I like queen e2 too, though, because it's
Yeah.
a very tricky move. If you take with the bishop on c2, then the knight hangs on h5. If you take with the queen, white can put a rook on the c file and try to attack down the c file as well. So it's tricky position. I think in terms of c4, I still think Charlie would be in a much more favorable situation. Just because I think, is better at seeing the tactical possibilities, and I don't feel like Fuseli is necessarily. She's not as aggressive per se. She's not looking to try to attack right away or be as aggressive. So I think it still would be an uphill task. But I feel overall, there's still are chances for both sides. I think there will be blunders. It's going to be who blunders last.
Yeah, there will be blunders for sure. Only other game still going in this round, I believe, is actually Slicker versus Nate Hill. We're not going to go to that. Just a shout out for those of you tuning in and wondering who all the stars are. Of course, you can see a lot of their names directly to the left of the board. They are all streaming throughout the day. So go ahead and follow their channels if you haven't already. Okay, e5 from Charlie. Now, normally, we would like this sort of thing. You're fighting for the center. But in a position where your king is kind of a sitting duck here, this can be, you see that, the even the computer starts to like white more after that. And I like this move, Hikaru, just from a practical perspective. She recognizes she needs to blow open the board.
Very nice move. Yeah, very thematic.
right.
But please don't take the pawn.
Oh no.
I don't know if Charlie will see it, but I think
he might not. But I think another issue is if he doesn't see it, she might play a move like rook c1 and leave that threat hanging there for a while.
Well, if Charlie finds knight f4, everybody, the sound effects from your commentators here, because that would be what we call a fork, and that is a forking problem there because Black will win even more material.
Well, he already missed one though in the previous game. He already missed knight g3. So I mean, you never know. To be fair.
Okay, this is a crazy moment right here. Will most critical Charlie see knight f4? Or will he let it go by? I think even if he finds knight f4, this is still a game we'll be focused, and he doesn't.
He doesn't.
And even if he did, this king in the center is the kind of game that bad things can happen for a long time. So he's up a piece, but this is going to be exciting.
Well, now knight takes pawn, and it gets very unclear. White's knight is jumping to e5, and Black's up a piece, but it's very reminiscent of a game played between Deep Blue and Garry Kasparov, where Kasparov, the world champion, had an extra horse, but his king and his rooks weren't developed, and he got checkmated. So this is very, very unclear still.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I think the plan for Fuseli is pretty natural because she's already developed her pieces. She knows that she has to bring the rooks onto open files, and that's actually the best thing you want to do here because with a rook on c1 and on e1, you're cutting off the space from the king, and you're trying to keep it stuck in the center.
Yeah, this is, from a practical perspective, despite the evaluation, because remember, everyone, chess is based in a lot of math. The pieces have point values, so the computers have been kind of taught, to evaluate the positions based on those factors among many others. But so Black, yes, with best play, probably should still win. He is up a piece, and if he could coordinate. But in a practical game, I like White as well, and Fuseli also up a minute and a half. This is going to be a fun finish. Good old-fashioned family fun right here on Twitch Rivals. I don't know if there's I don't know. We don't got to go anywhere else. We can just stay right here. You guys got anything else to do? You're not hungry, are you?
Oh, I don't know. What was
Is it
the go-to snack, Danny?
Something with a nacho cheesy big taste crunch.
Oh my. All right.
Sorry.
B5 played on the board. Okay, so Hikaru, what do you think about this move?
Not a good move objectively speaking, but I will say that White has to find the right solution. Fuseli has to move the knight to the center of the board and not leave it hanging. I think after knight e5, White is completely winning though, because you can then move the queen and double attack the rook and the knight. So if she moves the knight to e5, I think it's going to be a very, very tricky position for Charlie to sort of try and maneuver and get his piece of the right squares.
Right. And strategically, it felt like I was going to say weird decision because what he's trying to do is develop his dark squared bishop and try to get his king to escape somehow. And it doesn't seem like he's figuring out that plan, but I guess it doesn't matter because now he's going to win an extra piece.
But what's funny is it still does. I mean, Fuseli, yes, she misses 95, and Hikaru highlighted 95 would have been probably just winning with threats like Queen of 3 coming. But she has the right idea. Like, and philosophically, you can tell, right? Because she knows, look, right now I need to get pieces opening and coming at the king. And so she's unfortunately, willing to sacrifice too much. But I agree with you, Agar. She feels like Leslie has a good feel for chess. Like, she kind of intuitively knows this game is all about the attack right now.
Yeah, I think her general feel is quite good. But it feels like, again, and this applies to everybody, I feel, is that there always are critical moments where it felt like even with the top dogs like Voy or Hutch, there are always like 1 or 2 moments during the game where like the brain just shut off and they just blundered like a knight or a rook or something like that. And I think I don't really know what the psychological explanation is for that, but it seems like everyone does that.
Right.
And I don't know how you kind of can avoid it, but it feels like that's just a symptom that everyone seems to have when they're playing chess.
Is there any chance you think she did this on purpose to try to sacrifice her knight and bring the rook into play more actively?
Wait, no.
No, you don't. You think it was just a slip? She just didn't see b5. That's fair.
Yeah, probably, but I mean, I don't know. Now Charlie's second guessing himself. And I felt with Charlie, the thing is when he got confident, when he was really feeling into it, he was playing very, very good chess. Like at the end in the consolation bracket, he was really, you could see the confidence.
Oh,
every game he was really feeling it. Now,
she psyched him out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm hearing from chat that she did actually plan it based on what she's saying on stream. So she thought it was a good sacrifice, and I guess so did Charlie since he decided not to take.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking too, is that there was intuitively an understanding that I need to get pieces out because the king is there, and just she didn't realize that she could have saved the knight and still done all that, right? She could have had the attack, but it's still very close. Charlie plays queen b7. I have a feeling he has some sort of dirty trick like knight f4 in mind, maybe to hit g2. Either that or he was just worried about the queen being stared down by the rook. So Fuseli back with a second chance to save the knight. Now she has 2 good options, maybe knight a5 and knight e5. Oh, still okay. So Charlie was looking for knight f4. I was right.
Okay, so Charlie blundered, but he blundered in a way that actually had a good logical reason behind it. So I can't fault him for playing queen to b7. And now he sees knight f4, and what a beautiful move by Charlie, and he's going to win the game here pretty soon. I guess the only thing is we'll see if he sees the fork, because queen g3 I think will be played, and then we'll see if he can spot knight e2. He's over 2, but he's got to see it this time. I mean, he's just too good. He's too good to miss this many forks.
So right now, everyone, the knight is attacking both the queen and protecting g2, which means we have a checkmate and 1 threat. Okay, Fuseli maybe sees the fork, so she makes the right decision, even though she's still in a tough spot. Charlie can easily just trade queens and then win the knight, but at least she didn't fall for the fork.
Right. Now Charlie, of course, can trade queens and take the knight or go knight e2. Both moves are just winning. So again, a little bit choppy for Charlie in the middle, but overall, I feel that he has demonstrated that he is the superior player in this match, and now he sees knight e2 and just. Charlie's just cleaning up here.
The fork does happen, as you said. Holy forkness there for the king, because the knight hops into the hole. You're going to win the rook, and then the knight's going to fall. And I think, as you said, Hikaru, Charlie's showing those lessons, right, with Danya Naroditsky paying off apparently.
He's making up for that knight h5 early move. I think the prophet would be very happy with this.
I don't think so. I think Hikaru was right. I think knight h5 was a bad move that worked out, and now now he's got to convert.
Clean up pretty easily.
But when your student plays a bad move but then saves it and has a nice finish.
Oh, and rook c8, what perfect technique. Just getting rid of the last rook on the board.
He is, Hikaru. He's getting better. You're right. He's getting better. This is already so much more clean than a lot of the chess we saw early on when Charlie first committed to pogchamps.
Yeah, I mean, he put in a lot of time also. Like, I would say after Box, in terms of the time commitment and studying, Charlie probably, I would say, was the guy who had the second most amount of hours. I mean, on stream at least. Like, he just did, I forget how many tactics puzzles he did, but he did a lot. I mean, he did like probably over 1,000 or something. I don't remember the exact number, but he put in a lot of time, and so it's not surprising he's being rewarded for the amount of effort that he put in, and a lot of credit to him. I mean, again, obviously coaches played a big role, but it does come from within first and foremost. Yep. And when people like Charlie or Box, are literally just grinding the game as hard as they can, the results show, and he totally deserves this.
And he's just finishing it off in style. Bishop b2, he's going to collect the pawns. Do you guys think we're going to see a resignation here, or is Fuslie going to play on?
Nah.
Never resign.
Never resign. Never surrender. I think Fuslie will hope for the stalemate too. And she was good at setting some of those up. We do remember the wild game that Fuslie had with Nate Hill.
Yeah, that one's going to be a tough one to forget. But
replicate.
I'm looking at the results now. Team Trump SC is really cleaning up Team Box, and Team Nim has 5-3 over Team Hutch. That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah, we didn't get to look at a lot of those games. Unfortunately, we'll in the second round, of course, maybe bounce around a little bit differently. We know that Hutch, as we said, made it to the finals in pogchamps versus Boy. He ran up against the strongest kind of newcomer to these chess showdowns that are going down on Twitch. Zalay, I think, won both games. I know he won one, and I'm sorry I didn't see the result for the second one to be sure, but I think he might have won both. So, yeah, but those are the standings. If you're just tuning in, you can see that we've still got a lot of chess ahead. Round 2 and 3 still to come. So don't go anywhere. We're going to see if Charlie can convert this cleanly, or if we get an epic clippable stalemate moment. So, well, hopefully not. In this case, you want to see Charlie convert that technique. I know it would be great for Fuslie to get the draw, but I think sometimes for players that are improving, to know that you start to get that feeling where you know that once you're winning, you're going to convert, right? When you start to get that kind of confidence, I think that really helps your addiction to the game, because now you know if you get advantage, you feel like you can win that game.
Right. Mm-hmm. And speaking of addiction to the game, I'm curious if any of these players are going to take up trying a classical chess tournament once COVID restrictions are up. I think that would be very fun to watch.
Hikara and I talked about that. I don't know that classical chess is ever going to come back in the way that it, we talked about a lot of things before the show went live. Hikara, your thoughts on that? Share with you what you wanted with the fans about what you were saying about maybe online chess is more of the future anyway. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in general with what we've seen on Twitch, and generally the people do like watching the competitive aspect of chess online. I think when you're seeing more and more events being held online with higher and higher viewership, there is a certain question as to whether you really want to have these tournaments over the board as tournament organizers. Certainly, there's something to be said for seeing the people play in person. It is quite different online with sort of the 3D versus the 2D board. But I do think down the road, and this is not to be really critical about top chess tournaments, but considering the fact that most top-level chess tournaments don't have that many spectators to begin with, I do feel that organizers will have to think about those issues, and does it really make a difference when it costs a lot more to put on these actual over-the-board events versus online? So I'm a little bit skeptical, but that being said, if tournaments do come back, I think there is probably one player who will at some point play a tournament, considering he has played a lot of overboard chess already, and that would be Zalay. He has played in tournaments like the HB Global Chess Challenge in 2005, I think it was. He also played in the Chicago Open many times, a tournament that I think all three of us have played in. So I would say he's probably the most likely to play over the board.
Makes sense, I guess, because he's continuing what he's done already. But there's that final checkmate from Charlie.
We saw a great game finish there by Charlie, most critical. So we saw a lot of games. So I'm going to ask each of you real quick. Give me your shout out, Alexander, your favorite game from this first round of play.
It has to be the checkmate we got from Firebat, that beautiful discovery checkmate.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hikaru, your favorite game?
The best one.
Favorite game? I think it has to be the game between Charlie and Leslie, the first game that they played.
Okay. Those were their shout-outs. Let us know your favorite game from round 1 in chat. While you do, I'm going to give a big shout-out to Capital One. Capital One is the official bank and credit card of Twitch Rivals. And Eno is your Capital One assistant, which helps track things in case there's ever purchases that might have surprised you and they weren't supposed to happen. Those are just more ways that Capital One is helping protect your coin And let us know what protects your coin, chat. What's in your wallet? How's that? And the other thing I need to mention is we got to keep our energy up.
Game fuel.
If I don't drink these, I don't think I need the energy. I'll take them home to my kid. They need more energy. They don't need energy at all. But Mountain Dew Game Fuel includes ingredients shown to improve accuracy and alertness. Good for chess and gaming, along with a no-slip grip and a resealable lid. So get some. You can go to gamefuel.com for more information. We're going to be back with a lot more information because there's a lot more games ahead. Round 2 at the Twitch Rivals Chess Showdown. We'll be back. We'll be back in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. More Twitch Rivals in just a few.
shit just ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all.
Yeah, this is straight from the heart. So let me take it back to the start. Before all the days that you called me them names and chose to tear me apart. Cause it felt so right, yeah, and it felt so sure. We belong together, you and I forever. It was meant to be, I could've swore, but those days are gone. And these days it feels so wrong. So you just gotta know that I'm letting you go, girl, so we can both move on. Yeah, cause we're going nowhere, and you act like you don't care. So why would I stay for all of this pain? No, it's just not fair.
Game over, the writing is on the wall. Love that we shared just ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all.
for the better instead. It's not right now, but it's okay. And sometimes life goes that way. But now I cannot believe that you're ready to leave even after I asked you to stay. Cause I tried the best that I can, and I know that I'm the right man who will hold you tight, put up a fight when you're sipping like sand in my hands. But we're going nowhere, and you act like you don't care. So why would I stay for all of this pain? No, it's just not fair.
Game over, the right and it's on the wall. It's on the wall. Love that we shared just ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all. Game over, the right and it's on the wall. It's on the wall. Love that we shared just ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all. The winner takes it all. Ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all. Ain't here anymore. The winner takes it all.
And we are back here again with Twitch Rivals. The Chess Showdown is rocking and rolling here today alongside me. My name is Danny Wrench. I'm here with Hikaru Nakamura and Alexander Botez. And we are watching these teams of four in the Twitch Rivals Chess Showdown battle other teams of four. Remember, there are other teams out there like the U.S. Army. You can join the millions who already have and become an expert in your field. What's your warrior? We've also got Doritos, which is the official stack partner here of Twitch Rivals. And just remind you, Doritos is that triangle crunch with big, bold flavor. Go big or go home, I always say. So I'm already at home, so just have some Doritos. I think that sounds good. Hikaru, Alexandra, let's talk about the standings. Talk about where we're at after round one. What you think? Standings?
Yes.
We're about to see more awesome matchups. So everyone, let us know in chat what your favorite Doritos flavor is. I was just kidding about that. I do tend to prefer Cool Ranch or Salsa Verde, if I'm totally honest. Not the new Post Limon flavor, as much as I do love Post Malone.
What is the original flavor? Just so I know. Is it just like
Doritos nacho cheese? Nacho cheese.
Okay, that's the original flavor. Okay,
Nacho
that's
cheese.
literally the only flavor I've had. But man, back in the day, those were good. I used to actually eat a lot of like potato chips when I was young.
The new Post Limon flavor, I saw a commercial for it. Shout out to Post Malone. Anyway, sorry, Alexander, look at round two. Which matchup has your eye right now?
All right, so we have the two teams. I mean, it has to be Team Trump SC versus Team Nim because they were the two winners in the first round. Trump with 7 points and Nim with 5. So that's actually very close.
Right.
And I'm curious to see if Trump SC is going to give Zalay a run for his money since he's such a heavy favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Hikaru pointed out Zalay is maybe the guy who will jump back into over